Welcome on into this week's edition of the WTOL 11 Weather Hangout. Great to have you with us, and happy Wednesday, a weekly tradition, and good to have the three of us here on this beautiful and sunny day. We finally got some nice May weather, and thanks for tuning in, whether it's on YouTube, WTOL 11 Plus, or on our website. Always good to have you with us each and every Wednesday. You can subscribe for the latest every week.
It's nice that we, are doing this on digital to where you can watch us, whether you're inside on your TV or maybe outside on your phone enjoying the nice weather that we've been having.
Yeah.
Wow, hasn't it been just great the last couple of days?
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully this can stick around at least for the foreseeable future as we go closer to June, right?
Yeah, about a week ago we were talking about the nasty spring weather and how we were
Yeah.
finally paying for it, and now we've rounded the corner and done a total 180 in the weather department, and finally back to some nice May weather.
I know a lot of people have been saying, okay, Mother's Day is on Sunday, and that's always kind of like a big benchmark to where
Yes.
flowers, can we
It's the
get
biggest thing.
started?
Yeah.
Are we clear of like freeze and frost? Things are looking pretty good.
Yeah.
There might be a little bit of a cooler outlook, but of course, I'll be breaking down some Mother's Day details because that's getting close. Maybe a little climatology in there too. What else is going to be happening this week, Matt?
Yeah, so I kind of broke down a little bit, not just yet, but kind of broke down a little bit of the science behind the mayflies.
Oh, no. not our favorite part of the month of May, but it comes every year, and it's just
Yeah.
something we deal with living in Northwest Ohio.
Yeah,
so
those little
that'll
pesky
be,
bugs.
Yeah, they are pesky. That'll be real interesting to hear, Matt.
Oh yeah, so we'll be breaking down the size of them and how they may be, their lifespan is a little longer than you expect. So that'll be kind of a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll have to see what you've learned. I know some people might say, Matt, you can just, not have the mayflies, but, well, it's just a part
I mean,
of
I wouldn't
the
mind
set
them going
being
extinct,
here.
but I guess that's it. Kind of helps.
It's a signal that summer's almost here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so hopefully we can get those summer temperatures to stick around a little bit longer. But for now, we got some videos that's
let's check it out.
pretty interesting. Yeah, our first video right here is a daring helicopter rescue by two pilots flying the Shildrick Wildlife Trust. Shows them plucking a trapped tanker driver from the flood waters of the Kenyan Sabaki River. The pilots managed to reach the driver, hovering just inches above him, and the tanker he was clinging to. So they were, in fact, able to rescue him. Wow, that is incredible.
That is daring video. How terrifying, and to be hovering that close to those waters and, making the rescue there. Wow, that is...
And that's a helicopter.
yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, it is right on the water there.
Yeah, very terrifying, but also new images once again. Astronomers using NASA's James Webb Telescope to take this image. This is of the warm dust around a nearby young star, and the image was taken to study the first asteroid belt ever seen outside of our solar system in infrared light. How cool is that?
Yeah, the James Webb Telescope has really just been a gold mine of amazing content and images for us astronomy and science nerds, and it's amazing how sharp and clear those images are from so far away. You can get a really crisp picture of what's going on in our galaxy and beyond.
Yeah, I always find it interesting when they say, oh, go, stargazing, and this is a young star, because we're talking stars that are, millions of years away from us. So definitely,
relative,
yes, the time, the distance, the space. It's all a little bit different when we're in the astronomy
Sure
realm.
is. And let's bring it back here to Earth. We've got some lightning, a light show flashing above Lorena, Texas. This happened on Friday, May 5th, as a series of severe thunderstorms swept over central Texas. The biggest threats of these thunderstorms included some strong straight-line winds, hail, and flash flooding as well. And you can really check out that lightning. We got some cloud to cloud and cloud to ground. And Texas is known for its severe weather, and quite the light show there from outer space. Looking at the clouds just lighting up there with those lightning strikes.
Yes, it's been pretty quiet here as far as severe weather, but other folks have been seeing it already this season. So we'll probably have our day of just seeing some of these thunderstorms so far.
Yeah.
Just rain here. That's
Yeah,
what
just
we
some
get.
spring showers, but of course
rain.
that's a part of Tornado Alley that traditionally sees more common severe weather. So we'll keep you updated and posted regardless, but hoping for more of the sunshine.
Yeah, hoping for a lot more sunshine. Yeah, we got more sunshine on the way, at least for the next couple of days, so that'll be fun to look out for. Also, we'll be talking Mother's Day forecast possibly too.
Yes, yep. So we still have so much more coming your way here on the WTOL 11 Weather Hangout. We're going to take a quick break. Check out this fun fact. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the WTOL 11 Weather Hangout. We were talking about how Mother's Day is just a few days away, and I know a lot of moms have been saying, okay, what about frost, freeze? I'm going to probably have some flowers in my future, so we'll be talking about that. But another thing that those pots of flowers are going to need some fresh water. But maybe we don't necessarily want the water on Sunday, though we are talking about some rainfall in Sunday's forecast. It's quite interesting that we've seen wet weather on Mother's Day a lot lately. So Mother's Day rainfall, the last 4 out of the 5 of those holidays, we've seen rain in the forecast. We've measured it in the rain gauge. So 4 out of the last 5. Now you may be thinking, okay, year to year, I'm tired of it raining on Mother's Day, making it hard to spoil mom. Of course, you want to get outside, maybe have some fun together. But just the last couple of years, you're going to find that we've seen even some healthy amounts of rainfall on Mother's Day. Back in 2018, we picked up just over an inch of rain on that Sunday. And then in 2021, we picked up over an inch and a half that day. So it's not just a couple of showers. We have seen, like I said, some healthier amounts of some rain on Mother's Day. Now, the other thing, though, to keep in mind is on average, we usually only see, considering that we can take data dating back all the way to 1895 or in that range, that even till present, that average only comes out to just over 1/10 of an inch as far as that average rainfall for Mother's Day. One thing, though, to keep in mind is that the date of Mother's Day is going to vary a little bit. So we are going to find that to maybe be a little bit earlier into that mid-May range, or it could be a little bit later. I know a lot of folks have been saying, hey, Mother's Day is quite late this year. So, well, we'll keep that in mind as far as that frost and freeze. But as far as the rain is concerned, like I said, some days we've seen a lot of rain, other days maybe not so much. So that's how we come up with that average of just over 1/10. So Mother's Day rainfall totals, out of those last 5 years, you're going to find that, well, thankfully last year, it was dry for all the moms out there. Happy to have a nice, enjoyable day. But then we go, the last 4. Here it is, all that rainfall. Just even into 2021, we were talking about how we saw just over an inch as far as our rain. And even then the years prior, we picked up at least 1/4 of an inch of rainfall, if not more, even dating back to that 2018 date where we picked up once again over an inch. So Mother's Day, it looks like around here, or at least lately in, well, this decade and a little bit of the last, that, well, water and Mother's Day seem to go together. But what about the heat? I know my mom probably wants to see a little bit more of a warmer forecast. So last year we saw that high to record around 67 degrees. And you're gonna find that 60 is fairly common. Of course, again, it's hard to truly measure that because of the date of Mother's Day changing year to year. But 50 degrees back in 2021, one of the cooler ones that we've seen. But even look at 2017. 75 degrees. Now, whoever's mom ordered that, she must be a special lady getting that in the forecast. But 50s, 60s, 70s, you can kind of see May. It can bring us a little bit of everything. And also considering a lot of these have brought us quite a bit of rainfall with them, that's also why finding 50s and 60s on there, not too much of a shock. So how about maybe some of those averages, or at least those extremes? Well, the warmest Mother's Day that we've had way back in 1936, 90 degrees was recorded on that Mother's Day. So that one, a little bit of a scorcher. But on the other end of the spectrum, you're going to find the coldest Mother's Day. As far as that morning low, well, I hope that if you had that pot of flowers, you had it covered up. 1943, 30 degrees was that morning low that day. So that means that you probably had maybe the potential for some frost. If not, those plants that don't like the cold weather, not going to be a fan of what we had back in 1943. So you can see we have a little bit of everything for Mother's Day, but lately the trend has been quite a bit of rainfall. So of course, for this Mother's Day, you are going to find that those conditions might be just a little bit, well, cooler as we go ahead. So make sure you have the WTOL 11 weather app. We're always going to have that updated as far as any frost or freeze potential as we go through the rest of the month. Like I said, a little bit of a cooler trend coming as we head into the end of May. But for now, we are in the clear. So if you're going to head out in the next couple of days, grab that pot of flowers for mom. Just make sure she has the app and she'll have a great Mother's Day ahead, even if we have to talk about some rain in that forecast. Of course, we'll have updates on that on air and online, but we still also have much more of the Weather Hangout to come. So we are going to take another quick break with the fun fact to come, and we'll be right back.
Well, and in fact, it is May, and in Northwest Ohio, it's the month when we really start to see changes in the temperatures, trees, and even flowers. But one other thing you may think of in the month of May is mayflies. And in a few short seconds, I'll be breaking down when you might see them flying around, crunching under their feet, and as we get closer and closer to the summer months, more outdoor activities will start if one of those, in fact, see some of those mayflies. But one thing we do see, even on radar, is mayflies. You can definitely see from these two examples this past year where mayflies do in fact show up on radar from this example and as well as this one. But you may think mayflies actually live longer than you expected. Check this out. As we get closer and closer to the summer months, more outdoor activities will start. But if one of those activities are along the lakeshore area or on Lake Erie within the next month, you might want to look out for those infamous mayflies.
So they're called mayflies, but maybe we should call them June bugs because I feel like they might come out at the end of May in Lake Erie, but it's usually starts in June and might go through even through the early part of July.
You may hear the popular saying that they only live for a day, but they actually live for a lot longer than that.
So the mayfly lives is a larvae or a nymph underwater in Lake Erie for 2 years. So they live down there. Yeah, they're like 2-year-olds when they come out, So they live in is this little larvae that lives on the bottom of the lake for 2 years. And then they go through a metamorphosis. Almost, it's not exactly like a butterfly, but they really change, and they come out with wings and they fly.
But why do so many of them fall by the lakeshore areas of Lake Erie and not more inland?
How many you see is going to depend on which direction the wind is blowing, literally, which direction the wind is blowing. And that's kind of why they go in swarms, I think. When they come out in a location, the wind just kind of gathers them and moves them around.
Even though the smell and the cleanup can be annoying, the critters are important for fish, especially walleye.
Mayflies have always been a really important component of the food web. They're pretty big for a bug, right? So they're a good food item. Like for yellow perch love them. All fish really do love them. Perch eat them, especially smaller walleye will eat them. So they're an important part of the ecosystem.
Mayor says when they do hatch, the best thing you can do is turn off any lights that you have outdoors or in parking lots. Lights are the #1 thing that they are attracted to. Reporting in Toledo, I'm meteorologist Matt Willoughby for WTOL 11. Wow, can you just imagine how many mayflies has to be in the air for it to show up on radar?
Yeah, and it does every year. It's fascinating. It'll be a totally clear sunny day. You'll see a bunch of green on radar and you're like, uh-oh, the swarms of mayflies. Those are not raindrops. It's raining something else.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a really interesting story, Matt. Good to know about the life cycle and how they're just lurking down there for a while before they come out and make their big appearance.
Yeah.
2 years under the water. That's a long time. And, you were saying, even behind the scenes is like they don't have mouths.
They don't. So they can't feed or eat anything at all.
And they're not good at flying, so.
Yeah, the mayfly is definitely a unique creature and definitely, like you said, a sign of summer to come.
Yeah.
So, yes. Of course, maybe we're not the world's biggest fan, but it's only temporary. It's not the whole summer that we're living with them.
No.
Exactly. Oh, of course, we still got a little bit before we get there. So we still got some sunshine to enjoy at least, and possibly some rain as we go throughout, at least before they possibly get here late May, early June.
Yep, and looking forward to Mother's Day weekend as well. Lots of good things to to look forward to as we anticipate that transition from spring into summer.
Yes, I really kind of feel like for a lot of people, this weekend is kind of spring, because I know some folks have said, all right, summer, it's here because we've had these bright sunny days. So what are you guys thinking? Are you thinking you'll have more of those summer vibes after Mother's Day, or are you going to wait till after Memorial Day?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Can you hold off, or are you just going to dive right into summer?
I think I'm gonna dive right in, honestly. I mean, I've already been to several of the ice cream shops around, so I've been to Mr. Freeze and of course the other ones in Edie. So yeah, I've had my fair share of ice cream this spring.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're already in summer. You're not even waiting.
Yeah, it's getting close to that warm enough temp where you can go swimming and even head to the pool. So we're inching closer to summer.
I know. I've been trying to hold off because I'm like, ooh, it's still May. I see maybe a little bit of a cooler trend at the end of the month, but with the extra daylight and the sun that we've had, it's hard to not have those summer thoughts.
Exactly.
Of course, we'll be keeping an eye, though, any frost and freeze potential, like I said. Matt's going to be watching radar for those mayflies. And, of course, we're always, the whole entire team, going to be having an eye on everything weather that you need to know, so you can keep updated on that with the WTOL 11 weather app. We'll also be talking about it here during the WTOL 11 Weather Hangout. Of course, so check us out again next week. You can find us on the WTOL 11 YouTube page or also on WTOL 11 Plus. Until next time, have a good one.